What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, there's a lot of things that I just don't quite understand. Okay? There was, of course, an incident that occurred maybe 2.5 weeks ago where a basketball player by the name of Kyrie Irving shared a link on his social media account. Now, granted, he does have millions of followers, but the movie that he shared came out 4 years ago and probably had the popularity rating of, say, Home Alone 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, when did that come out? And I'm just completely baffled at the notion that Kyrie is the one that caused that movie to rise in popularity. When in reality, what really drove the sales and interest in that movie was the media's constant infatuation in pumping this movie and promoting this movie. Then if they really were this offended by this movie, then why didn't they go after the person who made the movie, the movie? Why weren't they going after the person or persons who were profiting off of this movie? Because they never really were offended by the movie. Most of them never watched the fucking movie. It was all bullshit. Most of this was get back at Kyrie Irving for not taking the elixir and bucking the system. The system does not like buckers. They don't. And some of it also is some individuals who have some residual racism, okay? Don't like uppity Negroes and like to put them in their place. Hence, the false and fake outrage. Now, on the other side, you have a Hall of Fame football player, a former Mississippi governor, one of the most famous wrestling families of all time, and many other cronies involved in the theft of nearly $80 million that was supposed to go to TANF in the state of Mississippi, but was diverted for their own personal use, including building a stadium that I think never got built, or finished at least. Favre was given millions to give speeches that he never gave. Millions still was given to salaries for the DiBiases for hiring purposes as far as events and things of that nature. Some of it was given to afford staffing, investments of companies. Yes, all this money was wasted. Why? Because the rich are so trifling now that they don't want to spend their money. They want to spend other people's money. And this money that they spend is taxpayers' money, which is why I don't understand for the life of me why you're not upset. Why aren't you upset? America, and you know what I mean by America. You should be furious with Brett Favre. He's worth $100 million fucking dollars. I'm pretty sure that governor is worth a pretty penny. The DiBiases ain't hurting. But they chose to spend your fucking money. and not a peep. So kiss my ass when you talk about all these people around here living off of my fucking hard-earned money. You know, all these niggers. Yeah, when it's black people, you got a problem. But when a rich millionaire, multi-millionaire who's worth $100 million like Brett Favre, and he takes your taxpayer money to fund his schemes, and then has the nerve to get on camera and say he didn't know anything about it when the text messages clearly show that he knew. He knew where that money went and said, hey, I hope we don't get in trouble for doing this shit. There's something wrong with this country. But anyway, there's not much out there because the media is avoiding this story. And you know, look, the media to me has become totally infiltrated by the tabloid crowd. All right? They're all about ratings. They're all about hits and clicks and things like that. And they like simplification. They like something that's easy for people to comprehend. Sex scandals, racism, anti this, that, and the other. And also the tried and true, let's make black men the villains for everything going on. That's what they feel comfortable doing, including all of these fucking coons running around on ESPN and Fox Sports who's supposed to be representing us through diversity. Bullshit. But anywho, football great Brett Favre allegedly used his clout to urge Mississippi's then Governor Phil Bryant to spend millions of taxpayer dollars, funds intended to lift kids out of poverty, to test an unproven concussion treatment. NBC News' Ken Dilanian has details on the allegations. There's a video that talks about it, which are part of a broader scandal related to misused welfare funds. Favre has denied any wrongdoing, which is a moot point because the text messages that are out there, prove that you knew where the fuck this money was coming from, Mr. Favre. But he's not going to go to prison because, you know, at the end of the day, let's be honest about another thing. People don't care about poor people. Rich white men don't go to prison for stealing money intended to go to predominantly black people. They don't. Let me say that again. In this country, rich white people do not go to prison for stealing money that was supposed to go to poor black people. It's just not going to happen. He might pay a fine, you know, something like that, but he's not going to go to prison. Now, if this had been some rich white person that stole millions from a bunch of rich investors in a Ponzi scheme like Bernie Madoff, well, off to jail you go. This is the real America. It's sad, but this is how this country really is. It's fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, the media is supposed to be 80 to 90% liberal. But it also goes to show you that they are elitist as hell. And this whole thing is a reflection of how I feel about the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is supposed to be our party, right? But when you look at the party leaders, most of them are elitists, and most of them don't give a fuck about poor people. Oh, they'll tell us to go, if you're poor, they'll tell you to go to the polls. But, you know, it is what it is. But that's all I got to say about this, man. People like Brett Favre, unless they pose a threat to the existing power structure or people more powerful than they are, they're not going to go to prison. Nah, they're not. They're not. Fucked up, man. When Kyrie Irving is seen as more of a criminal than this piece of shit on the right. Dark days.